Hello, everyone. Welcome for being here. My name is Shekhar Chawla. I lead the product management team for AWS Marketplace core services and APIs. I'm joined by Ryan New. He's the CEO of Vendor.com. Vendor is a software marketplace which enables you to get fair prices for software without negotiations. And we are here to talk about Buy with AWS. If you didn't notice, yesterday, Ruba Borno in her partner keynote announced the general availability of Buy with AWS. So what we're going to do today is I'll give you a brief overview of what Buy with AWS is, how to use it as a partner and as a software buyer. And then Ryan is going to take you through the Buy with AWS experience on Vendor.com and tell you a little bit more about how it's creating value for our common partners and customers. So let's get started. Starting with the problem statement first, right? Like, why are we even doing this? So today, if you look at the buying and selling journey for software, it's, as you see on the screen, it's a circuitous path. Like, it's not a straight line. You talk to multiple people, you see a lot of demos, you do online searches, and through that whole process, you get sold to a lot, right? And this process is usually weeks, if not months long. And I'm sure many of you have been through it as a buyer. And as a seller, what it does is it increases your effort and the cost to acquire new customers. And we at AWS Marketplace have been working over the past decade or so to solve some of these problems. So today what you get with AWS Marketplace is a large selection of trusted listings, software which runs on AWS, a big network of ISVs and channel partners. And as a buyer, what you get is you can buy with your AWS account, use your AWS payment method, the right payment terms, and buy a little bit carefree. You get things like standard contracts, better governance mechanisms, and so on and so forth. And as an ISV or a reseller or a distributor, you get to meet or you get to acquire customers a little bit easier. Vendor onboarding becomes a little bit easier, and then customer acquisition is simpler. So while we've been working on all of these things, of course, there is a lot more to do, a lot many problems to solve. So we keep asking our customers and partners, what more can we do for you? And while that is a long list of things, one of the things that came up from both customers and partners was to somewhat streamline that journey. So you saw the circuitous path. The feedback from both customers and partners was that, hey, make it, if not a straight line, somewhat close to it. And how that translates is essentially buyers saying, help me decide faster who to buy and from whom. And partners saying, help me convert more customers faster, reduce my customer acquisition cost. Right? I want to spend less time and selling to customers and more time building for them. So that's what led to the birth of Buy with AWS. And what it essentially is, it's a simple product. It's these 4 buttons. And the idea is that as a partner, whether you're an ISV, a reseller, or a distributor, or in fact anyone else trying to sell software on your website or application, that you can embed these one or more of these buttons on your website. And what it helps you do is showcase your AWS partnership, and it makes it easier for the buyer to click on these buttons and continue with the purchase. Buy with AWS comes with no incremental fee for buyers or partners, so it is no extra cost. And the only requirement is that the software is part of the AWS Marketplace catalog. And for any partner who wants to set it up, you just need to be a registered seller or a channel partner or distributor on AWS Marketplace. So I think to round it all up, like I think the key thing here is that if you're a software buyer and if you go on a Buy with AWS website, you can use your AWS credentials to make a purchase right then and there. You can use your existing payment methods associated with your AWS account. If you have some private pricing agreement, you can draw down on it, and you get the standard AWS invoice which you get. So it's like buying from AWS Marketplace, but on a third-party website. And as a seller, what you get is better conversion. With this association, you can draw more customers to your website, and when those visitors are on your website, you're likely to convert them, more of them, because of this association, which could reduce your customer acquisition costs. So that's a little brief about what Buy with AWS is, and now I'll hand over to Ryan to take you through the demo.
Awesome. Thank you, Shekhar. Nice to meet everyone. I'm Ryan New. I'm the CEO and founder of Vendor.com. We're a Series B company based out of Boston, and I'm just going to quickly anchor the conversation around why the problem statement that we see at Vendor, and then we'll tie that back into how Vendor integrates with Buy with AWS and why this is a really good combination of forces. And the first is this data point up here. This data comes from Vendor's own data. So we help companies buy a lot of software. Billions and billions of dollars of software flow through our platform. And one of the things that we've observed is it takes a really long time to buy a great product. So I was a seller myself. I spent years at HubSpot, and I was selling this amazing product, but there was a problem. It took 53 days, and 23 of those days were spent in commercial negotiations. Right? So roughly 40% of the time that buyers and sellers are spending together before a purchase is consumed through the negotiation stage. Vendor's job is to eliminate that friction. So how do we do it? Vendor brings fair prices to software buyers without the need to negotiate. And buyers are taking notice, right? Who here wouldn't want a fair price for software? Right? Everyone wants a fair price. So people come to Vendor.com and they're searching for what should I pay for a specific product. Once they determine what they should pay for a product, they've now increased the trust in their confidence in their potential purchase, and they're more likely to actually buy, which greatly benefits the seller too. As Shekhar was mentioning, this is all about sales efficiency and reducing the cost of customer acquisition for ISVs while providing buyers with fair prices. So I'm a big believer of show, don't tell. So I'm doing a lot of telling right now. So we're about to show you how it works. So Vendor is one of the launch partners with Buy with AWS. And what that basically means is you can buy from AWS Marketplace without leaving Vendor. So buyers go to Vendor to get fair pricing, and then they can transact all the way through fulfillment on AWS Marketplace. Let's take a look. So the first thing you'll see when a user goes to Vendor.com is the big headline of see what others actually pay for software. And this user is searching for Drata. Drata is one of the leaders in security and compliance automation, and they're also available within AWS Marketplace, and they're a partner to vendors. And so first and foremost, you can see that we've mapped the vendor catalog to AWS Marketplace catalog. So any user on Vendor can now instantly see which products can be transacted through AWS. Next up, the buyer wants to uncover what should they actually pay for Drata. Well, what Drata determined is, especially for smaller business purchases, there's a heck of a lot of wasted time that's spent in the negotiation phase. So what Drata did with Vendor is they asked us to pre-negotiate. Vendor has all this data. They said pre-negotiate to a fair price and then put your name behind it so we can validate to the software buyer that the price is actually fair. We call this a no-touch private offer. What that means is a software buyer can get a fair price without picking up the phone and negotiating. Saves the buyer time, saves the seller time. It's a massive win-win. So how does it work? Well, the first thing a buyer does is determine how large are they. So for Drata, the package that we recommend is dependent upon the employee count. So if someone is over 50 employees, they're likely going to buy the bottom two tiers, the foundation tier or the advanced tier. Those are larger purchases for larger companies. But what if it's a small business? What if it's a startup just looking to get Drata to quickly level up their compliance and automation? That's where we would recommend the Essential package. So on Vendor, this is now a checkout experience that allows the buyer to self-discover what product is right for them and what should they pay. As we scroll down, the next thing that we're asking is, how long would the buyer like to commit to for this purchase? And this is where the magic starts to happen. So when someone selects a 1-year deal, you'll see that instantly unlocked savings for the buyer. On the right-hand side, there's a 25% savings unlock. That's because Vendor has already pre-negotiated these rates. Well, from Drata's perspective, it would be great if the buyer would consider committing to more than 1 year. If they decide they want to commit to a 2-year deal, we've pre-negotiated additional savings, in this case now 33%. So what you're seeing is a no-touch private offer, and I'm going to continue the flow to show you what happens next. Okay, so the buyer's like, hey, this is a great product, I'm confident in my selection. Now I actually want to know what it's going to cost. Vendor just in real time unlocked the savings percentage for the buyer and unlocked the actual price that the buyer would have to pay for a 2-year agreement. Vendor puts its name behind it. You see that shiny badge? That's for Vendor to showcase that this has been a pre-negotiated fair offer, validated by all of Vendor's buying power and our data. All right, so the user is going to continue forward now, and this is where we start to see for the first time the buy with AWS integration. All right, so we got to price discovery, we're increasing trust for the buyer, and we're increasing loyalty for those purchases that go through AWS Marketplace. At this point, the buyer can now decide that they actually want to purchase Drata without leaving Vendor. What typically used to take weeks, remember that 23 days of the commercial negotiation, now takes place in moments, where we're able to create a private offer on behalf of our seller partner without requiring them to do any work. All right, the first step is AWS ID. Well, what happens if the buyer doesn't know their AWS ID? Vendor takes on the buyer enablement to help them get that information from the right person. Maybe it's the primary account holder. This starts to reduce friction between the buyer and the ISV. And then in real time, Vendor is going to create a private offer that's ready to be transacted. This used to take multiple days of a negotiation between the ISV and between the buyer, and it's now ready to be transacted in real time. This works like any other private offer. Vendor is serving as the modern channel partner to automate this experience. The buyer's confirming that the details meet their expectations, they're happy that we've helped them secure a fair price, and then voila, the offer is accepted. This is stored in AWS Marketplace, this is stored in Vendor. Right? So that's how it works. So what are the main value propositions here? The one that I care about deeply is fairness. As a software seller myself, I never understood why I was the one that was able to make up the price. I don't believe that the price of software needs to be negotiable for small deals. It's a waste of time for buyer, it's a waste of time for seller. We're now bringing fair pricing to software, starting with smaller size deals. Number 2 is fast. Right? In order to get the best products you need, you got to be able to do it quickly so you can get back to work. When we're combining Vendor plus AWS Marketplace, it's kind of like peanut butter and jelly, right? Vendor helps you figure out what should you pay. AWS makes it really, really fast to navigate the vendor onboarding, streamline legal review, and billing. So you can buy from any AWS Marketplace product just like any other product. All right? So fair, fast, and easy. Well, what are our customers saying? There's two customers. There's the buyer and the seller. This is designed for both. It's creating win-wins for both sides. One of the first transactions that went through this experience was from John Rizzo, who is the CTO at a company called ExitSmart, it's a startup. And they were looking to buy Drata to help level up their security and compliance automation needs, and they needed to do it quickly. By doing it through vendor, they were able to get a great product at a great price incredibly easily. How does Drata feel about that? They're one of the most successful sellers on AWS Marketplace, especially targeted towards higher transaction sales. They're thrilled too. This means they can take on more private offers without wasting countless resources in negotiating and help spend all of that energy making their customers more successful. All right, so if anyone would like to participate, especially ISVs in the room, Vendor is currently working with AWS with a hand-selected group of ISVs. There's currently a wait list, and we would love to chat with you. We're going to be launching what we've done with Drata with plenty more ISVs throughout December and into Q1. So with that, Shaker, back to you.
Thank you, Ryan. Peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, that's what the partnership is. So it's been amazing partnering with Vendor and our 50+ partners who have their Buy with AWS experiences up and running. I think the one key thing I would like you folks to remember is that each of these experiences has something unique to offer. Like in the Vendor and Buy with AWS experience, you get pricing insights from Vendor and the value of AWS Marketplace together. And that's what each of these experiences have to offer. So, and if you want to try those out, feel free to scan this QR code. This would lead you to the Buy with AWS website, which has all of these experiences listed, linked, and it's a live website. We have about 58 experiences live, and the list is growing quickly. And you can always, keep catching it in the future. Now, if you're a ISV or a reseller or a partner or a distributor, and if you want to build this experience on your own website, this is the QR code to scan. Like I said earlier, this initiative comes at no incremental cost to partners. All you need to do is be a registered seller on AWS Marketplace and have listings in the AWS Marketplace catalog. So you can go to this website, check out the details available there. We have an onboarding guide available, onboarding videos available, and setup is mostly self-service. So out of the 50-odd partners we have, about 75% have built their experiences themselves. But if you do not have a website already and you want to set things up from scratch, we also have integration partners who have built about 20-odd storefronts for our partners. So there are details on this website to help you with that as well. You can work with these partners and they'll build things for you from scratch. That's pretty much it. Thank you for your time. We'll be around to take any questions, and feel free to reach out to us for anything else. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.